I've been trying to talk to you for 3 days, my beloved and dear son. You are my chosen one. Before receiving my words, I ask you to subscribe to this channel and see my message until the end. Don't forget to leave an amen and a heart in the comments for me. My beloved, I speak to you with tenderness because I see the weight that sometimes rests upon your heart and the worries that try to silence your hope. I want you to understand that each new dawn carries within it the gentle reminder of my love for you, a love that renews your spirit when you feel weak and burdened. The rising of the sun is more than the turning of a page in time. It is my whisper to your soul that life continues, that possibilities unfold before you, and that strength is given not from your own ability, but from my endless care for you. I have watched the tears you thought no one noticed, and I have listened to the cries that never reached human ears, and yet I renew you, because my desire is to see you walk with peace and courage. Do not allow the shadows of yesterday to dictate the steps you take now, for I have already clothed you with the light of a new opportunity. The night may have been heavy, with thoughts that pressed hard upon your chest and fears that stole away your rest, but I assure you that I remain constant even when the world feels unsteady beneath your feet. Each morning that greets you is not an accident or a repetition of routine. It is a sacred moment where I breathe fresh strength into your life and place before you doors that lead to growth, healing, and renewal. The burdens you carried do not have the authority to define who you are when you remember that I am the one who walks beside you with unshakable presence. I give you strength not only to survive, but to rise above the storms that seek to drown your faith. I know there are moments when you question if you have what it takes to continue, when exhaustion tells you to give up, and when discouragement tries to silence your hope. Yet I have poured into you a resilience that does not come from human striving, but from my eternal power, and that power is never exhausted. The new morning is my testimony that I will not abandon you, that I will continue to lift you even when your own hands feel too weak to reach upward. Every heartbeat is proof of my sustaining grace, and every breath you take is a declaration that your journey still holds purpose. When you awaken, look beyond the weight of obligations and the noise of the world, for I am whispering to your soul that this day is a gift given with intention. The opportunities set before you may not always appear grand or dramatic, yet within the smallest moments I am working wonders that you may not yet see. The strength I provide is not measured by the absence of difficulty, but by the peace I place within you as you walk through difficulty. Even when chaos swirls around you, I steady your heart so that you may carry a quiet assurance that cannot be stolen. I do not ask you to ignore the struggles you face, for I see them clearly and I know their weight. But I call you to trust in the renewal I provide. Each sunrise is my way of reminding you that nothing remains forever dark, and that even the heaviest storms eventually make way for calm skies. You may feel that your efforts are small, but I transform even the smallest step of faith into a powerful seed of change. Your courage, though fragile in your own eyes, becomes unshakable when placed in my hands, because I use what you surrender to create strength that cannot be broken. There is a reason I allow you to begin again each morning, and that reason is love. I do not measure your worth by yesterday's failures, nor do I abandon you because of the mistakes that weigh upon your conscience. Instead, I wash over your heart with mercy and give you the chance to rise anew, carrying not the shame of the past, but the promise of what I can accomplish through you. Each day, I invite you to walk with me, to place your trust not in fleeting circumstances, but in the certainty of my unwavering presence. You are more valuable than you realize, and I want you to wake with the assurance that you matter deeply to me. When fear whispers that the coming hours will only bring struggle, remember that I have already gone before you to prepare the way. I do not send you into this day unguarded. I surround you with my love, my wisdom, and my strength, and I never release my hold on you. The path may not always be smooth, but the renewal I give equips you with patience, endurance, and peace. The renewal of your strength does not depend on outward situations, but on the inner reality of my spirit within you, and that reality cannot be shaken by the storms of life. Many people search for strength in what fades, seeking comfort in things that cannot endure, but the strength I give is eternal. It cannot be purchased, stolen, or diminished by time. The renewal of your soul is a gift that flows from my heart directly into yours, and it continues every moment you turn to me. You do not need to carry the weight of uncertainty alone, for my hands are steady and my arms are open to uphold you. I will not fail you, and I will not leave you without the strength you need to face this day with hope. I want you to lift your eyes and see that each new beginning is not ordinary but extraordinary, because it is my signature written across time, reminding you that you are never forgotten. Do not underestimate the power of the quiet renewal I give, for even in silence, I am working within you to shape resilience, courage, and peace. You may not always recognize the ways I am moving, but every moment of strength you feel, every breath of hope that fills you is evidence of my presence. The renewal I give is endless, flowing into your life with abundance, and it is always enough to sustain you. So rise with the confidence that you are carried by my strength, renewed by my love, and sustained by my presence. Walk into the hours ahead, not with fear of what might come, but with faith that I am with you in every step. The dawn is more than light breaking through darkness. It is my declaration to you that there is always a reason to continue, always a reason to hope, and always a reason to trust. Let this truth settle deeply in your soul. I will renew you again and again, because my love for you never fades, and my desire is for you to live with peace that no storm can take away. My beloved child, I know the unrest that sometimes troubles your heart, the inner storms that seem louder than the world around you, and I want you to understand that true peace does not come from the absence of problems, but from placing your trust fully in me. When you lean on your own understanding, anxiety rises and fear multiplies, but when you choose to rest in my presence, I surround you with a calm that surpasses human reasoning. I see the battles you fight silently, the doubts you try to hide, and I whisper to your spirit that you are safe in my care, that no matter how uncertain the path seems, I remain unshaken and faithful to you. You often search for peace in temporary things, believing that if circumstances change, you will finally rest. Yet I tell you that the peace I give does not depend on shifting situations, but on the certainty of my love and my nearness. The world may promise comfort that fades like shadows, but my peace is everlasting and unbreakable. Even when everything around you shakes, I remain the foundation beneath your feet, the quiet assurance that steadies your soul when fear tries to overwhelm you. You do not have to strive endlessly to hold everything together, for I am the one who holds you. I know there are moments when your thoughts run ahead, painting pictures of what could go wrong, filling your heart with worry about what you cannot control. Yet I invite you to release those burdens into my hands, for my shoulders are strong enough to carry them. Peace is not found in solving every problem or predicting every outcome, but in trusting that I am already present in your tomorrow, just as I am here in your present. When you surrender your fears, you make space for my peace to flow freely, calming the chaos that tries to steal your joy. Trust is the doorway to peace, and I call you to walk through it daily. Do not think that trust means ignoring reality. It means choosing to believe that I am greater than reality itself, that my presence outweighs the threats you face, and that my wisdom surpasses what your eyes can see. When you choose trust, You allow me to replace the storms within you with stillness, and in that stillness you will hear my gentle voice reassuring you that everything is under my control. You are not abandoned to figure life out on your own, for I delight in guiding you step by step. I see how easily your heart can be distracted by the noise of the world, the constant pressure to perform, and the endless voices that tell you what you lack. Yet in the quiet place of trust, I remind you that you are already enough in my eyes, that your worth does not rise and fall with the approval of others. In my presence you are free to rest, to breathe, to know that you are loved beyond measure. This is the peace I give, not fragile or fleeting, but strong enough to withstand the weight of every storm. There is a peace I pour into you that cannot be stolen, not by loss, not by fear, not by the uncertainties that lie ahead. It is a peace rooted in my unchanging love, anchored in the truth that I am with you always. I know the storms outside can roar loudly, but I teach your heart to stay calm, for my peace is stronger than any storm. Even when the winds rise against you, my presence is the steady ground where you can rest, knowing that I will never let you go. You may wonder if trusting me will truly make a difference, and I tell you that it changes everything, for trust opens the door for my peace to guard your heart. Worry will try to creep back in, but each time it does, return to me and I will quiet it with my love. Let my voice be louder than your fears, and my truth greater than your doubts. You will find that as you rest in me, peace will not just visit you for a moment, but will dwell within you as a constant companion. I want you to understand that my peace is not fragile. It is unshakable because it flows from who I am. Just as the ocean cannot be emptied by a single wave, my peace cannot be diminished by a single trial. I am the source, and as long as you remain in me, you will never lack what your soul longs for. The more you trust, the more you will see that peace is not a dream, but a reality that I give freely to those who rest in my hands. When you feel weary and restless, return to me, and I will surround you with the stillness that reminds you that you are safe. My peace will shield your mind when doubts scream loudly, and it will guard your heart when fear tries to consume it. I do not promise a life without challenges, but I promise that my peace will never leave you, even in the darkest hours. You are never left to fight alone, for I am your refuge, and in me your soul will always find rest. So walk into this day not carrying the weight of fear, but clothed with the assurance of my peace. Let each step you take be guided not by anxiety, but by the calm of trusting that I am already holding tomorrow. The storms may rage, but inside your heart there can be stillness, because my presence is your anchor. Trust me, surrender to me, and you will discover that my peace is not only enough for you, but more than enough to carry you through every moment with hope and courage. I have seen every tear that has fallen from your eyes, and not one of them has been forgotten or wasted. You may have thought your pain was hidden in silence, that no one truly noticed the depth of what you carried, but I was with you in every moment, holding you even when you felt abandoned. The tears you cried in the darkness became prayers that reached my heart, and I treasure them as signs of your trust, because you allowed your soul to be honest before me. Do not believe for a moment that your suffering is meaningless, for I turn every drop of sorrow into seeds of hope that will bloom in your life. When grief overwhelms you and loss feels unbearable, I do not stand far away, untouched by your pain. I draw near to you with compassion deeper than words. I do not ignore your sorrow or rush you to move on, for I know the weight of brokenness, and I walk with you patiently through it. Yet I want you to know that your story will not end in despair, because I am the one who brings beauty out of ashes and joy out of mourning. What feels like the end of hope is often the very place where I begin to write a new chapter filled with promise. There are times when you wonder why suffering lingers, when the night seems endless and the questions echo louder than answers. Yet even in those unanswered places, I am at work, weaving purpose into your pain, shaping strength out of your weakness, and planting hope where there was only emptiness. Your tears are not wasted, for they water the ground where new life will grow. I do not ask you to pretend the hurt is not real, but I invite you to believe that even hurt can be transformed by my hands. I know how heavy your heart becomes when disappointment strikes, when what you longed for seems lost, and when dreams appear shattered beyond repair. Yet I remind you that I am the restorer, the one who gathers the broken pieces and creates something far greater than you imagined. You may look at your tears and see only loss, but I look at them and see the foundation of resilience, compassion, and faith that will carry you forward. What you release in sorrow, I redeem with hope, and what feels like the end becomes a beginning filled with my light. Your tears are a language I understand deeply, for they speak of love, longing, and the desire for healing. When you cry, I do not turn away. I lean closer, wrapping you in my presence, whispering that your pain is safe with me. I transform tears into reminders that you are not alone, that you are loved with a love that will never let go. Each time your heart aches, I am there, not only to comfort, but also to promise that hope is already rising within you, even if you cannot see it yet. I want you to see that sorrow and hope are not opposites, but companions on the journey. For hope shines brightest when it rises from the depths of sorrow. Your tears prepare your heart to receive joy more deeply, and the cracks in your soul become the very places where my light can enter. Do not despise your brokenness, for it is often through brokenness that my grace is revealed most powerfully. I take what was meant to harm you and transform it into something that strengthens you and inspires others who walk the same road. There are moments when you feel your strength is gone, when all you can do is weep, and I tell you that even then you are not failing, you are resting in my arms. Tears are not weakness. They are signs of a heart still alive, still capable of hope, still reaching for something greater. I cherish those tears because they show that you have not given up, that you are still pressing forward even when it hurts. And in my time, I will turn them into laughter, not the shallow laughter of forgetting, but the deep joy of knowing you were carried through. You may fear that the sorrow will last forever, but I assure you that it will not. Just as night gives way to morning, your morning will give way to joy. The tears you shed today are the testimony of the joy you will carry tomorrow, for I never leave pain unredeemed. Even when the world cannot understand your journey, I am weaving your tears into a story of hope that will inspire others who feel hopeless. Your tears today will become someone else's encouragement tomorrow, for I make all things new. In the moments when despair tries to convince you that nothing will ever change, remember that I am the God who brings life from death, light from darkness, and hope from sorrow. Nothing you face is beyond my ability to redeem, and no tear you cry is too small for me to notice. I'm not only the healer of wounds, but the one who transforms wounds into testimonies of my faithfulness. You will not remain in sorrow forever, because I am already turning the tide of your story toward restoration. So lift your heart, even if it is heavy, and trust that every tear has been seen, every sorrow has been counted, and every broken piece is being renewed. I will turn your tears into streams of hope, and I will fill your heart with peace that surpasses what you thought possible. You may walk through the valley weeping, but you will emerge with strength, with joy, and with a story that declares my goodness. Trust that I am near, that I am working, and that I will never waste your pain. Your tears are not the end. They are the beginning of a hope far greater than you imagined. I want you to know with certainty that you are never alone, not for a single moment of your life. There may be times when silence surrounds you, when the absence of others feels like abandonment, but my presence has never departed from you. Even in the loneliest nights when no one else could understand the weight you carried, I was beside you, watching over you, guarding you, and whispering truth to your spirit. Loneliness may convince you that you are unseen, yet I assure you that my eyes have never left you, and my heart has never ceased to care for you. When the world turns its back and friends walk away, I remain steadfast, unchanging, and closer than the breath within your chest. Others may fail to notice the battles you fight silently, but I see them all, and I hold you through each one. I do not leave you to face your struggles by yourself, for I delight in carrying your burdens and giving you the strength you cannot find on your own. My presence is not limited by distance or circumstances. I am always with you, whether in joy or in sorrow, in triumph or in weakness. There are moments when you look around and feel that no one truly understands your pain, and in those moments, I remind you that I understand more deeply than anyone else ever could. I know the thoughts that trouble you before you speak them. I know the fears that haunt you before you confess them, and I know the longings of your heart before you find words for them. I am the one who knows you fully and yet loves you completely, without hesitation or condition. You never walk through the valley by yourself, for I walk with you. When despair whispers that you have been abandoned, silence that voice with the truth that I have promised never to forsake you. Even when you cannot feel my presence, I am closer than you realize, working in ways you cannot yet see. The unseen is not empty. It is filled with my love, with my guidance, and with my care for you. You may not always sense my hand, but I am holding you firmly, making sure that no darkness will ever consume you completely. Loneliness has a way of magnifying fear, of making you believe you are powerless and forgotten. Yet I speak against that lie, for you are never forgotten and you are never powerless when you belong to me. The very moments when you feel most alone are the moments when my love surrounds you most powerfully, because I draw near to the broken-hearted and lift the weary. The emptiness you feel can become the very space where I fill you with peace, where I remind you that you are loved beyond measure, and where I strengthen your soul for the path ahead. You may sometimes wish for the presence of another person to comfort you, but I want you to see that my presence is greater than any companionship the world can offer. I am not limited by time, distance, or human frailty. I am constant, faithful, and always available to you. I do not come and go depending on your circumstances. I remain steady and unchanging. When you call on me, you will find that I am already near, listening, caring, and ready to give you the assurance that you are not alone. Even in the noise of the world, when countless voices pull you in different directions, I speak gently to remind you of my nearness. You do not need to strive to make me come closer, because I have already chosen to dwell with you. My presence is not something you must earn. It is a gift I freely give, because my love for you is eternal. Trust that in every place you walk, my footsteps are beside yours, guiding you and protecting you with unshakable devotion. The truth that you are never alone should give you courage, for it means you face nothing in isolation. Every challenge you encounter, I face with you. Every fear that rises, I calm with my peace. Every uncertainty that looms ahead, I cover with my wisdom. You do not walk into tomorrow by yourself, for I have already gone before you, preparing the way and ensuring that you are cared for at every turn. This truth is your strength, your comfort, and your anchor when loneliness tries to overtake you. I know there will be times when you long for the embrace of someone visible, when human absence feels heavy, and in those moments I ask you to remember that my embrace is real, stronger, and everlasting. You are not invisible to me. You are precious, treasured, and deeply known. Even if the whole world were silent, my voice would still call your name with love, reminding you that you are mine and that I will never leave you. Your solitude is not abandonment, because my companionship never ends. So walk with the confidence that wherever you go, you are not alone. In the stillness, I am there. In the chaos, I am there. In the sorrow, I am there. In the joy, I am there. You are surrounded by my presence, upheld by my hand, and carried by my love. Let this truth anchor your soul, no matter what comes, no matter who leaves, no matter how deep the silence feels. I am always with you, and I will never allow you to be alone. I want you to remember that your life is not defined by defeat, no matter how many battles you have faced or how many times you felt like giving up. You are walking a path that I have already prepared, and on that path there is a promise written over you: victory. Not the shallow kind of victory the world measures with applause or possessions, but the deep victory of a heart that overcomes fear, darkness, and despair. I have placed within you the certainty that even in your weakest moments, you are never without hope, because I have already declared that your story will not end in failure. The struggles you face may seem overwhelming, but they are not greater than the power I have given you to endure and to rise. Do not measure your future by the weight of what troubles you now, for I have already spoken promises of peace, strength, and triumph over your life. Every battle is an opportunity for my light to shine through your perseverance, and every challenge is a stepping stone toward the fulfillment of the plans I have set for you. My promise of victory does not depend on what you see, it depends on who I am, and I do not change. There are times when the night feels endless, when obstacles block your view of hope, and when your own voice doubts that you can continue. Yet in those moments I remind you that my promise is not shaken by the darkness. Victory does not always mean the absence of struggle. It means that in the midst of struggle, you are never overcome. I stand with you as your shield, your strength, and your unfailing source of courage. What feels impossible to you is possible for me, and I delight in bringing you through what once seemed unendurable. You may wonder how you can be victorious when your hands feel empty and your heart feels tired, but I tell you that victory begins not with your strength, but with your surrender to me. When you place your fears, your failures, and your weaknesses in my hands, I transform them into testimonies of resilience and triumph. My promise is that nothing will be wasted, not your tears, not your struggles, not even your moments of doubt. I turn all of it into a story of victory that reveals my faithfulness. I know the voices of discouragement try to convince you that you will never rise, that your efforts will never be enough, and that your destiny is limited by your past. Yet my promise speaks louder than those voices. I say you are more than your mistakes, more than your wounds, and more than your fears. You are chosen, strengthened, and destined for victory because you belong to me. Do not allow lies to define your future when my truth has already declared triumph over your life. Understand that victory does not always look like what you imagined, but it always looks like freedom. Freedom from fear that paralyzes, freedom from guilt that chains, freedom from despair that blinds you to hope. I lead you into a life where victory is not a distant dream, but a daily reality. Because each step you take in trust is a step into the fulfillment of my promise. Even small victories, moments of peace, glimpses of hope, sparks of courage are signs that my promise is alive and active in you. When storms rise and the battle grows fierce, remember that I am fighting with you and for you. I do not leave you exposed or defenseless. I surround you with my presence and strengthen you with my spirit. Your victory is not dependent on the outcome you see in the moment, but on the eternal truth that nothing can separate you from my love. Even what seems like loss in the world's eyes can become victory in my hands, because I use every circumstance to lift you higher and draw you closer to me. You may feel weary from waiting, longing for the fulfillment of promises that seem delayed, but trust that my timing is perfect. What appears to be delay is often preparation, shaping you to carry the fullness of the victory I have designed for you. Do not mistake waiting for abandonment, for I am always working, even in silence. The promise of victory is sure, and I will bring it to pass in ways that will exceed your expectations and fill your heart with joy. The promise I give you is not fragile or uncertain. It is sealed by my faithfulness. No power of darkness, no scheme of the enemy, no failure of your past can cancel what I have spoken over your life. You were created to walk in light, to live with hope, and to experience the joy of victory that only I can give. Even when battles linger, victory is already written into your destiny because my word cannot fail. Let this truth steady you when doubts arise. I have overcome, and because I live within you, you will overcome as well. So lift your head with confidence, for the promise of victory is not something distant. It is your reality in me. Walk into each day not with fear of defeat, but with assurance that you are carried by my strength and surrounded by my love. You are a victor, not a victim, because I have spoken it over you. Let this promise settle deep in your soul. No matter what rises against you, my victory is yours, and it will carry you through every trial into the fullness of joy and peace that I have prepared for you. You will have more blessings. If you hear one of the messages on the screen, watch with faith. I will wait for you there, my son and my daughter.